Hey, what's up guys? In this video, I'm going to be processing an existing kick to make it sound darker. And the whole idea of this is for techno production. And the idea is to take a sound or create a new one or put stuff in your music that no one's ever heard before. That's the goal. That's what techno production strives for. Go back to Kraftwerk, it's been going ever since. You want to make brand new sounds and you want to use brand new sounds, but everyone has the same sample packs. Everyone's at the same starting point. So the idea is to process them in such a way that they sound different. So the idea for that is to use unconventional source material and process and wrestle with them until they sound great. And then put a 909 underneath them if you want. So we're going to start off with this kick. Kind of sounds like it belongs at an EDM festival. We're going to make it techno-y. And we're going to be using Saturn. So the story about a lot of plugins is plugins are there to replace hardware, make your life easier in the process of making music. And what I mean when I say that is a plugin will easily do something that you were doing before, but it was way more difficult. So what FabFilter Saturn does is it is a multiband distortion unit. So you split things up into separate bands and you distort things accordingly or saturate or use any kind of algorithm you want, adjust the tone and stuff like that. Before, people would do that with bussing and like extreme EQ cuts and layering and stuff like that. This plugin is there to kind of streamline that. That's the first time I've ever used the word streamline on my channel. So yeah, this is FabFilter Saturn, and it does that. So I'm going to load up the new FabFilter Saturn and bring the drive down because there is an immediate effect. And we have the visual readout here. I wonder if I can make this any bigger. I am not smart enough to do that quite yet. I'm going to turn on high quality mode, which is oversampling, just because we always strive for the highest quality. And what I want to do is I want to just immediately split this up into separate, what do you call them? Bands, sorry. And I'm going to do that by kind of experience and feel. And this is basically what it looks like. So what I did is I isolated the low end. And I want that to kind of remain untouched because that is my sub layer. Or not, it could be something else. I could totally mangle that and stuff like that. But anyway, this right here will be, this is the punch. It occupies, you know how there's like the bass, there's like the sub bass and then the mid bass. This is the mid kick. This is the bread and butter. This right here is the darkness and brightness area, right? And then this up here is like the click of the kick. This is the thing that kind of has the ability to leave the subs in the speakers. It does, this actually doesn't leave the subs. What am I talking about? It leaves the the arrays, bounces off the wall and comes back because higher frequencies bounce around a lot more. Lower frequencies are absorbed. So when you listen to like that big kick, and you're like, this sounds freaking awesome, it's because it has that snappiness to it. And if you're making a kick, this is a little quick tip, if you're making a kick and you squish that like initial like high-end transient out, you can add a hi-hat as the transient and it'll work just the same. So yeah, I want to leave the high end and the low end, and I'll just give you a listen to what those two sound like just by themselves. Such an amazing difference, and the body in the middle is what we're going to be kind of controlling here. So this right here, right, this is like like the talk. There's a tick and then the talk. I don't know what to name these sections. It just comes down to experience or lack thereof. When you increase the drive, notice that it gets more it gets more saturated, but then also the levels even out. And what that does is that adds, well, tape. I say this almost every video. Tape adds a couple things: distortion and compression. Tape adds subtle compression, so it's like really important to like nail tape down. I think tape around on this sounds pretty good. I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna use something a bit more aggressive, maybe like a lead amp. Right? So you have the low end that's untouched, right? And that goes clean, well, not clean through. Should go clean through, actually. You know what? I'll make it go clean through. So what I did is I essentially turned off all processing through the low end. I want that to go through unimpeded. But it was adding some nice compression. Let's turn it on and off and we'll decide together. This is part of the production process. Sounds okay on, actually. Nah, I'm gonna leave it off. I've decided. So we have this lead amp thing. What we can do is we can bring it down, the overall level of the entire band. So what that's doing, according to my theory, which you can take with a grain of salt, is it's accentuating and adding the harmonics created by the low end. So there's the illusion that the bass and the kick is more powerful than it is. But this is a good way to kind of change things. And it's always a good idea to turn it on and off to kind of hear what it's doing. Doesn't that sound darker? We have this guy here. I'll just kind of maybe bring that down. I might want to bring that up. Maybe a broken tube. And that might be compressing it just a tad. Sounds okay to me. All right, so that's like super heavy kick that we're getting at. So now I want to maybe do a couple things. When you have distortion, it's a good idea. I'm not telling you what to do. It's a good idea to consider putting a post and pre EQ in there. And I'm using a Pro Q because it has a gentle roll off, 6 dB per octave. And what that does is that will kind of, I guess, roll off the high end before it goes into Saturn. Essentially making it darker. And just for fun, see what happens when I drive. So this is like driving it with a particular frequency. It's interesting to hear how it reacts differently. Yeah, it's kind of fun. Anyway, I'll take that off. It's just essentially just to kind of roll that off. And I'm going to add another EQ here. Hollow out the kick. I want that click to kind of pop through, so I'm going to do a thing that is kind of a rule when you reduce a particular band. You should always compensate by boosting a particular band. Now, this is an extreme boost and cut, but it might be necessary. And it might be, your one-way ticket to making an interesting sound. All right. So from here, I'd like to maybe see what it looks like. So this is another technique that I've probably shown a couple times. And that's using LFO tool as a volume shaper, or I guess as a compressor. A compressor is that you draw in what it's doing. Turn on that. So you can see that kick looks pretty neat, actually. It's more of a whoomph, kind of what it's doing. Just gonna kind of clean up things like that. Neat little envelope. You want the balance to be correct. What will you do now? There's a lot of things you can do now. Let's maybe, you know what? Just add another Saturn. That sounds neat. It's like a ring mod sort of thing. What is that? Oh, it's not telling us. Just trying different things. All right, I'm gonna use the Ableton EQ just for the democratic process. Okay, and I'm going to use another EQ, and this EQ's job is to tilt. Just to see. All right, so we got that. That's somewhat of an interesting start. It's quite an aggressive beast, and you can keep on going for hours. We can even see what it sounds like. No, I'm not going to do that. Never mind. Let's just see what it sounds. Let's just group these into our own little group, and you can like collapse all those things into one thing and turn it on and off. See what's going on. All right, so we're losing a little bit of dynamics. I'm going to add that click back. You know what I might need? need just a little bit the compression. And I want to kind of gain match these. Oh, you know what people do? They add the Ableton limiter. So the thing about the Ableton limiter is it works really well on loud sounds, but not that great on quiet sounds. That sounds freaking deep. We're not even really testing it with much of anything else. It's hard to gauge. I didn't foresee that in the making of this video. At the beginning of the making of this video, you gotta kind of listen to what it sounds like in context. Maybe I can find a loop. I need something darker. Let's try looking up techno. Just because my brain's about to shut off. After hours techno. Oh, this one doesn't work, does it? I have a bunch of sample packs that don't necessarily work. Yes, give me bass or beats. Okay, hold on to your butts. You know what? I'm just using these as an example, Bruce. Yeah. Number one tip, have something ready to go so you can contextualize. That sounds pretty dope. Mission accomplished. Not too bad. Definitely would have focused in on it a lot more, or I don't know, would use a different material. But it's hard to do it because this is for demonstration purposes. But anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned stuff. Let me know if you like the longer format videos. I think people told me that they did like the longer format videos. So yeah, maybe I'll do more of these where I just kind of do stuff and we can all kind of have a laugh. But anyway, hope you enjoyed, hope you learned stuff. Take care and have a good one.